Hello and welcome. You're watching Big Picture with me, Vishal Dahiya, and today we're going to talk about the new rules and regulations for social media platforms, their implications, and the importance therein as well. Remember, on 25th of February, the Government of India had put in place a set of rules, guidelines, in fact, for all the social media intermediaries. They had to comply with all those guidelines within the time frame of 3 months. Now that time limit will get over, and we'll try and understand not only what these guidelines are and their importance, but also their implications. Why do we need them, and where does these social media platforms stand when we're talking about compliance with these guidelines? And for more on this, we're joined by two distinguished experts. Let me first introduce them to you, beginning with Mr. Abhishek Singh. He is the CEO of MyGov platform and National E-Governance Division in the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology. We also have with us Advocate Anuj Agarwal, cyber law expert. Welcome, both of you gentlemen. Let me bring in Advocate Anuj Agarwal here as well. Mr. Agarwal, let's look at it from the legal point of view here as well, because if we have to look at cyber laws which are there within our country, where does these guidelines fit in that framework? That's one. And two, how important and significant are these guidelines? Because these guidelines, as Mr. Singh was pointing out, they tend to go ahead and deal with the problems which are faced by the social media users almost on a daily basis on almost all platforms.
See, the genesis of this entire exercise lies in the writ petition, suo motu writ petition, Prajula case, which is already known, in 2018. And that was a time when Honorable Supreme Court was really worried that about the child pornography, rape and gang rape videos, imaginaries, and things like being very much prevalent on the social media platforms. And they have called even Microsoft and Google also to present their views in the court, etc., etc. And then they directed the government to have suitable rules put in place to avoid these kind of things being repeated. Later on, it was also found out that social media had been extensively used, or at least claimed to be used, for organizing some kind of rioting. Especially this year also, on 26th January, there was a huge problem which has happened in the capital, and the social media was used to aggravate all such problems. Keeping that in mind, and the scope of the social media these days, where the access is very much there, each and every person is getting information and is able to post information, and there is absolutely no mechanism from these platforms to really check whether the information which is being provided, posted, has any basis, whether it is correct, whether it is inflammatory in nature. I mean, there is absolutely no control. So keeping all that in mind, I think the government, through the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology, by amendment or completely replacing the intermediaries rules, brought out these guidelines to at least bring in some sort of a self-governance. I will still not call these guidelines as something which even the government has kept much of the power with themselves for the enforcement. There is hardly any power they have kept. What they have actually brought these guidelines to help these platforms to become more of a self-governing platforms, to at least have some responsibility, accept some responsibility. But what is happening, unfortunately, is that those very mild suggestions which the ministry has given, they are not complying, and probably they are taking some sort of a confrontist stance. Keeping in mind that so far the government's stand on most of the issues as far as the media is concerned has been very lenient. And I think this is also keeping in mind our tradition of democracy and freedom of speech. It is there. But I think time has come, since these social media platforms which are having users up to 50 crore and reach as wide as any rural area, hinterland, young, old, everybody is having the access. It is time that these guidelines are made in such a manner that these platforms can be held accountable and even criminally accountable.
Okay. Let's now shift focus towards the importance or the significance of these guidelines vis-a-vis the users. Earlier, you're listing out the guidelines, Mr. Singh, in your first response, and I'd like to start with you, Advocate Agarwal. From the legal point of view as well, it becomes really important to protect the user, the end user on these platforms. These, intermediaries, social media intermediaries are big companies, but the user are spread far and wide across the country, somebody in the rural internet, some young boy, some old man maybe. What are the rights and, responsibilities vis-a-vis the user in terms of the social media platforms here, and how they're taken care of by these guidelines and set of rules which are now kicking in?
See, there are two aspects to this. One is the positive aspect that, as you rightly mentioned, that this is being used by young and old across the country, people who are at a disadvantage living in the rural areas. So for them to look at achieving the constitutional objectives of justice, equality, liberty, these platforms are really a boon. So that is one part, and that is how they are so far enjoying so much of liberty. But I think if we look at from the legal perspective, as Mr. Singh mentioned about that Baji.com case, under which somebody uploaded a pornographic clip on Baji.com, which was an auction site, and there was a legal case in which the managing director of that company at that time was arrested and all that. And after that, there was a safe harbor clause in the name of intermediaries were given under section 79 of the IT Act, that on an intermediary platform, if somebody is uploading an objectionable material, say for sale, purchase, why punish the intermediary? So if there are the similar is that if there are two cars colliding on a highway, and highway operator cannot be prosecuted because it is not his responsibility to ensure everything a car driver is doing. But I think the case of these social media companies are different. Legally speaking, they are actually not intermediaries. The government has been very kind to give them a special social media intermediary definition by the rules. But if you look at the law, the IT Act, the definition of intermediaries in 2W does not include social media companies, because these are basically publishing companies. They are not selling anything. They are letting people bring out their ideas or publish a news which is otherwise already published. So I can put a cutting of Times of India in one of my tweets, or I can write my own views, or I can write something as a news bringing, saying, okay, that has happened, which may be correct or not correct. So they are basically publishers. Mm-hmm. So they should be treated like that only. But so far, because for some reason the government has been allowing, and I think, as I mentioned to you also, that since they were letting our citizens speak up and getting some constitutional liberties being bestowed upon these people, so government had been kind. But that should now change, because these platforms are using them not only for money making but for curated content. So today, if I am speaking certain content which may be true but may not be of the liking of the platform, they are changing it. Well, an editor of a newspaper definitely has a right to see that the contents which are being published on the newspaper is as per their standards or government standards. But then they should also be liable to the government of the country. So today what they are saying, that they are a government on their own, they are not following any local government, the government of India regulations, they are not following. Mm-hmm. So I think legal framework is that they should now be registered as newspapers, as publishers, and regulated accordingly.
Okay, as Mr. Singh is pointing out, quick concluding comment from you as well, Advocate Agarwal, vis-a-vis the rights and benefits for the users, because ultimately it's about end users. And for the social media platforms as well, their growth depends upon how many people like to use these platforms and how many more will subscribe to them. So if the subscribers, the end users, rights are not taken care of, then obviously they'll not be able to grow in the business sense as well.
You are right, and I think they had been sensitive to these particular suggestions, and a lot of sexually oriented contents, which is definitely objectionable and which is obviously targeted at children and vulnerable sections of society, that has been removed. And I think they, YouTube, Google, Twitter, Facebook, they are all very active, and they have large teams, I believe, to remove that kind of a content. And that's how a typical common user is actually not complaining that much, except for some things like privacy policy or where their data is being stored, and some fake news, which is a false news, which is spreading. So users per se have definitely benefited. And so far, Honorable Supreme Court's action in the Prajula case has also helped the cause of the common persons, and those platforms has really become much better than what they used to be before that particular case and the orders of the Honorable Supreme Court. But in the same line, I still feel that there is a need for us also to have some kind of a law which is going to curb the fake news, which is going to curb the falsehood on the lines of the law which is there in the Singapore and other places. That will make these platforms a perfect place for all sections of the society, younger, older, vulnerable, children, women, and not only from the sexual but from the news exchange perspective also. These platforms are really good. They should work under the government and self-regulatory oversight, but yes, they are really useful and they should be allowed and continue to work.
Okay. So there it is. Thank you so much, Advocate Anuj Agarwal, as well as Mr. Abhishek Singh, for sharing your views and insights on this very important aspect vis-a-vis the social media platforms. That is the new set of rules and regulations, the guidelines specifically, which have been put in place by the government. And as our experts are pointing out, all social media companies will have to adhere to these guidelines, the law of the land therein. We'll come back again tomorrow with a different topic. Till then, keep watching. Thank you.